The next hadith, which is number 45, it says, Inna Allah, عن جابر رضي الله عنه عن جابر بن عبد الله أنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that he heard the messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم عام الفتح وهو بمكة, the year of al-Fath, while he was in Mecca, يقول, says, إن الله ورسوله حرم بيع الخمر والميتة والخنزير والأصنام, that indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade selling al-khamr, intoxications or wine and the like of it, wal-mayta, the dead animal that has not been slaughtered, wal-khinzir, and the khinzir, the pig, wal-asnam, and the idols or the images or the statues. فقيل يا رسول الله, they said, O messenger of Allah, أرأيت شحوم الميتة فإنه يطلى بها السفن ويدهن بها الجلود. They said, O messenger of Allah, do you see the fat of the dead animal that has not been slaughtered? Because the ships are being painted with it, and the julud or the leather also they become wiped with these fats of the dead animals that are not been slaughtered. ويستصبح بها الناس, and the people they use it for lamps to light up. He said, قال لا هو حرام. The Prophet ﷺ said, no, it is haram. Then ثم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عند ذلك. He said then after that, قاتل الله اليهود. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قاتل Allah, that means may Allah, قاتل means fighting, or it's a dua against the Yahud, that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revenge from them or punish them. إن الله حرم عليهم الشحوم فأجملوا ثم باعوا فأكلوا ثمنه. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade upon them الشحوم, the fat, so they got it out of the animal and they sold it and they consumed its price. That means they used it, and this was reported by Bukhari and Muslim. The Rajab rahimahullah in this hadith, he mentioned this is one of the matters of principle in the deen, right? That certain things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade. It also shows that it's forbidden to al-hila, or to be deception, to be in deception, or if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade something, that people would name things differently, or they would do something to it so that it looks like it's halal when it's still haram, so that they would make it permissible. And he mentioned here that, you know, that anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade, then it's also forbidden to sell and to take its price for it. And there's a hadith, إن الله إذا حرم شيئا حرم ثمنه, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he forbids something, he forbids its price. And this is general, anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade. So he mentioned here in the sharh, like the kutub of a shirk, books of shirk, associating problems about teaching people shirk, or sihr, or sorcery, or bid'ah, and dalal, deviation, and things like this. It's haram to sell these types of things, or forbidden pictures, or musical instruments, or things of that nature. And you mentioned some of the evidences of this, and we have to be careful. We are at times where it's very easy for people to buy and sell what is haram. And someone might ask, but if a person has a phone and he sells it, and the phone people use it to listen to music and things like this, this is one of the difficult matters, really. Of course, the fatwa of the ulama usually are upon that when something is, the norm of it is to be used in halal, but someone might use it in haram, then the ruling comes based on what's norm. The norm, if the norm of is that the people use it to call each other and to talk and things like this, then it's permissible in its original sense. But if a person knows for sure that someone would use that phone in something haram, you know for sure that you're going to give that phone to someone and he is going to use it for haram. Not that you're in doubt. If you're in doubt, you don't build an action based on doubt, then it comes into the category of wara' maybe. But if you know for sure with certainty that he would use it for haram. He is someone that listens to music, he watches things that are not permissible, and you're giving him a smartphone that is, people usually, the norm is that they would use it for whatever is forbidden if they do not fear Allah and His Messenger ﷺ. Then it's not permissible to sell them that phone. And I'm not. It's not something to make it difficult for one in one's life, but we are in difficult times, and we have to be careful what we do, especially with this huge fitna that the Ummah never faced the like of it before. When with the mass communication and the sins become so easy, and easy accessibility for the sins in the hands of a person. At the same time, there are great benefits, of course, and one of which is that we get to be in sessions like this and seek knowledge and the ease of it. But there are so many sinful means, and we have to be careful. And there's no such a thing as long as I'm doing good, it doesn't matter if a person is doing bad. We are responsible for ourselves and our actions, and also if a person helps others to do something that is not permissible. And that's why he mentioned in the Sharh, which is one of the principles in the deen, that it is very obvious that لا يجوز بيع العصير ممن يتخذه خمرا. It is not permissible to sell juice or to sell grapes for the one that would use it as to use wine, to make wine. You're not going to ask people when you're selling them the grapes, what are you going to do with the grapes, right? But you know that this is the owner of a wine factory, and he's coming to take all of the grapes in your land, right? It's very obvious what he's going to use the grapes for. Then it's not permissible for you to sell him the grapes, even though selling grapes is permissible. And the same thing, if a person knows for sure in any matter that he sells, if it's used for haram, for sure, then it's not permissible to sell to that particular person. And if he's in a business of buying and selling, it becomes very difficult to discriminate. He cannot discriminate between people. I would sell this guy this thing because he's using it in halal, and I won't sell it to you because you're using it in haram. It's not going to work. They're going to shut down his business. So in that case, it's better for his religion to stay away from it. Like selling something like makeup, for example, for women. It is not forbidden in the absolute sense. A woman can put this for her husband, right, in her home. So, but if a person opens a store, and a woman walks in and she has makeup on, it is not permissible for him to be in that business. Why? Because she is going to use it in haram. And so many things can apply to this ruling. And that's why we have to be conscious and to be aware of this, not to make things difficult for us, but to know that the deen of Islam is a perfect system in matters of ruling. So this is basically what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade, and there are many different rulings that applies here. And in Allah Rasuluhu harrama bay' al-khamr. So selling anything that is haram, wine and intoxications. And we see how many Muslims, they sell these evil things. And they think it's permissible because they're selling it to non-Muslims. It doesn't matter whether it's sold to a Muslim or a non-Muslim or whatever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade something, then it's forbidden for a person to sell it, period. And all of this money is haram, of course. Wal mayta, an animal that is not slaughtered because it's haram. Wal khinzir, pig and what comes from it. Wal asnam, al asnam, whether it's being worshipped or not being worshipped. So small statues of idols or statues or whatever there is that has images in it, all of that is forbidden. And then when they asked the Prophet ﷺ about the shuhum al-mayta and how it's mayta, they won't eat it, but they would take the fat of it and they would use it. And he said it's still not permissible. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbids something, that means He forbids anything from it. And he mentioned the case of the Jews when they took it or made a hila or a trick, basically, so that they would permit what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade for them. And one of the things is that maybe people might name things differently. Instead of saying khamr, they would say spirits or something like this, or so this is and even though with regards to the shuhum of al-mayta, the ulama, they mentioned if the Prophet ﷺ forbid it clearly, right? And it's there's differences of opinions with regards to the understanding of this hadith. that if it's if it's used for a necessity or something of that nature, right? So, but again, the hadith states the matter very clear, and we ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to make it easy for us to understand matters of the deen, and of course, without getting into the details of what's halal and what's haram. But this is a principle, this is a foundation that makes many of the rulings easy to understand. That if Allah Subhanahu wa Taala forbade something, then He forbid buying or selling it. Barakallahu feekum. Jazakumullah khairan. We'll continue inshallah ta'ala next time. Allah yabarak feek. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah Subhanahu wa Taala reward you. May Allah Subhanahu wa Taala bring us together inshallah matters of obedience inshallah ta'ala soon inshallah. Barakallahu feekum wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.